It was a bad season. And I think that is important to acknowledge. All right, don't hide from it. Don't sugarcoat it. No mincing of words. No. Well, if this game went the other, they could have. No, it was a bad season. Came to a close with a loss against Ole Miss. It did feel, and I'll admit I bought in, feel like they might save something after destroying San Diego State in the play-in rounds. Seemed like over the last 10 games, it was all right. They're putting something together. They might be a little team of destiny here. But their old demons popped back up in a big way against Ole Miss, which, by the way, was another quad one loss. Against good competition this year, they struggled mightily. And I'm to this point now, and it's a flaw, and it's something that should never happen at UNC. The blueprint to stopping them was out. If you made RJ Davis an inefficient player, you had a much, 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 much higher likelihood of beating UNC. And good teams were able to do that. Now, some of the bad teams, ACC teams, struggled to do that, and he was able to knock down threes, and they could build off of that. But the moment they played higher-level competition, RJ Davis became inefficient, obviously as the focal point of scouting reports, and the rest of the team wasn't able to pick it up. They needed top shelf RJ Davis, and if he was merely good, they didn't have the big guys to draw the attention away, right? Go into the post, and then when everybody collapses, you can kick it out to RJ Davis, and they didn't have the creators elsewhere on the perimeter. They didn't have the firepower to overcome it. And thus, you're left at the end of the year feeling incomplete, dissatisfied. RJ Davis after the game, after the season ends, by the way, an all-time great UNC player, his number will be in the rafters. RJ Davis talked about his comeback and the team's comeback falling short for UNC.
I mean, I have a lot of emotions, going through my head right now. It's hard to pinpoint just one direct motion, but just from battling our way through the first half, obviously not putting a pretty good game, and then coming through the second half and, battling all the way to the 1 minute mark was a 2-point game. It just kind of just describes our whole season, from being an up and down year, being a difficult year, and persevering. I think that's the best way to put it. And, we were resilient, so I think that's and it just come up short like that. I mean, it sucks, it hurts. So yeah, but I mean, just for us being a resilient team and persevering when things don't go our way, when we get knocked down, we get right back up, and I think that's what we did in the second half. We just came up short.
Just came up short. Here's why it's so frustrating. Guys that I am actually very, very high on as players: Drake Powell. At times this year, Ian Jackson. They weren't ready to be main creators. Then Alan Lubin, again, a player that I'm high on in a role, was efficient. He was even efficient against Ole Miss, but he's complimentary. Jalen Withers, when they were playing their best, he was the guy. When he is knocking down shots, he can be that other scorer, but he becomes like very easy to forget about or miss if you're watching the game, if he isn't hitting threes, if he's not getting volume shots from three. The challenge for UNC, and I can't believe they got here, is you need more than one guy that can create his own shot. You can't, and I'm going to use a bunch of UNC examples. You can't only have Tyler Hansbrough. You need Wayne Ellington and Ty Lawson and Danny Green. Varied skill sets, but all can do one thing: find their own shot. This is the school that brought you James Worthy, Sam Perkins, and Michael Jordan when you won a national championship. Right? You didn't get one. You didn't have, hey, this guy's really good, and if he's good, we're good. It was, if everybody focuses on James Worthy, we can kick it to Michael Jordan. This is the school that brought you Sean May, Rashad McCants, Jawad Williams, Raymond Felton, and Marvin Williams. Now, I know these are the best examples. These are national championship teams I'm hitting you with, but that's what was missing. When RJ Davis made 3 or more threes, they were a very good team. When he didn't, it was a bad season. And it really was that simple. And you can go back, look at the Duke games. Look at the senior night. First half, what did R.J. Davis do? Lit it up from 3. What was the score? It was a 1-point game. Second half, what happened? R.J. Davis dealt with some cramps. He wasn't as efficient, didn't score as much. What happened? Duke ran away with it. And that was Duke with Cooper Flagg. This was not the ACC tournament Duke where Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown were hurt. Like Malik Brown and Cooper Flagg were needed for Duke to beat UNC in that game. You could hang with the best team, what I consider the best team in the country, when R.J. Davis is knocking down, 3 or 4 threes. When he's not, you had a hard time beating Boston College. And you may be sitting there going, well, yeah, of course, we want 4 guys. It's expensive, sure. You're North Carolina basketball. You're North Carolina basketball. Well, we got some guys we hoped they develop. You hoped? I'm going to give you some words that my offensive coordinator in college etched into my brain forever. Hope is not a strategy. Right? I throw a ball downfield. Well, I was hoping he was going to beat him. Hope is not a strategy. You better have reasons why you believe what you believe. You better have proof that what you believe is going to happen. I hoped that Drake Powell would emerge as a number 2. Hope is not a strategy. Especially not in the transfer portal world. And I hate to say this because it does kind of ruin college basketball a little bit. You can buy buy solutions to your problems. The transfer portal opened today. Isaac McNeely is in the transfer portal. He is a shooter, and if you know me, the more syllables you add to shooter, the better the shooter is. Isaac McNeely from the University of Virginia is a shooter. UNC, reportedly, according to On3, has already been in contact. They better. And you better go get a few others with abilities to find, create, and put up their own shot and be efficient with it. It's just not enough. And I know you hate the comparison, but we talked to start the show about how Duke has kind of a choose-your-own-adventure way to winning games. Who's playing well? All right, lean on them. UNC did not. Who's playing well? If it's not R.J. Davis, we're in trouble. Withers is hitting a bunch of threes. Maybe there's a second, but that's a big if.
By the way, the games that Ian Jackson did not score double-digit points this season for Carolina, 8 and 9.
And Ian Jackson, he played 10 minutes against Ole Miss.
Yeah, 1 point.
He had really fallen out of favor. He had a stretch where he was, 20 points in like 7 of 8 games, something crazy in the middle of the season. He
struggled down the stretch. Last game of the regular season against Duke, played 19 minutes, scored 8 points. In the ACC tournament, and the win against Notre Dame had 4 points, and the win against Wake had 3. Against Duke in the ACC tournament in the semis, he had 0. In the win against San Diego State in the first 4 in Dayton, he had 9 points, and he had 1 point against against Ole Miss. So the team this season was 8 and 9. So it kind of goes to your fact that if there was no secondary scoring happening for Carolina outside of R.J. Davis, what was there? And honestly, the game against Ole Miss, like R.J. Davis said, was a microcosm of their season. How many games early on in the year did they fall down behind big time, maybe climbed their way back in, but still came up short? They did that in so many games this year.
I wonder,
Michigan State, Alabama, Florida,
Dayton.
Dayton. They ended up
Kansas.
winning that one. Louisville. There's so many games that they ended up doing that. And okay, so what changed from November?
I wonder if the dramatic comebacks that made losses closer than they probably were didn't stunt their searching of solutions, because it stunted my opinion of them. And what I mean by that is I remember getting more confident in UNC after the Kansas game. right? They got smoked in the first half and then stormed back to lose by 3. And I remember going like, oh, they showed the mettle, when in actuality I think there were things shown in that game that should have led to big changes, right? And the same thing on a few of those other games where the storming back almost made you go, nah, I still like them. No, things are still going well, when it should have been opening your eyes to bigger and more aggressive changes. All I know is this: bad season. And that's a compliment to UNC, right? I say this all the time. My expectations are high. There are a lot of teams out there that, won an NCAA tournament game and are celebrating, even though they lost their next one. UNC is not that team. They count national championships. Bad season.